What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TB Toycast YouTube channel for another TB Toycast unboxing right here on this very YouTube channel. As today we are unboxing the Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron trilogy. That's a mouthful. Blackarachnia. I am super excited to dive into this. Obviously, new to the Transformers world, new to the Transformers toys in general, and a lot of my knowledge really only comes from the movies, and I don't even think I've seen all of them. But as I'm diving into these, never expected these to be on this channel. But now that they're here, I'm like, you know what, this is kind of fun to dive into. And I picked a few of these up at a vintage toy shop the other day. Obviously, you saw that I unboxed Night Prowler a couple of weeks ago, as of this recording, and they're a lot of fun. I picked up 4 that day, so I got more to come, and I picked up more since then. Spoiler. So a lot more Transformers to come here on the channel. A big thing for me is I didn't know how I was going to do it, and I feel like the time-lapse video worked pretty well, so I'm going to try to do that again today, but I was just like, no one's going to want to watch me try to transform this over the course of probably a couple of minutes. But when I recorded the time-lapse, even though it took me a while to get it all together, it was like only 19 seconds. I'm like, that's doable, right? That's doable, right? Yeah, come on, we can make that happen. But yeah, Blackarachnia, a character I'm not real familiar with because I'm not really familiar with a lot of these. I do know the War for the Cybertron trilogy is actually on a Netflix series that they did. Have not seen it. Again, my knowledge is very limited, but I don't think that really affects the toyeticness of these figures too much. But let me know in the comments. Are you a big Transformers fan? Are you a Transformers toy fan? Are you fans of the TV shows or the movies? Or where does your Transformers fandom come into play? Love the artwork here. Hasbro definitely does a great job with all the artwork. Look at that. Absolutely fantastic. Really, really fun. I love the logo there. Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron trilogy. Easy for me to say. Deluxe class. And as I said in the last video, I'm going to try to stick to the deluxe class just because I like my figures to be uniform. And there might be a few here and there that may be a little bit bigger or something, but I kind of want to keep everything as uniform as I can. That will venture off, I'm sure, at times, but to me it's just easier to kind of have everything be the same. Cool thing right there. Very cool. And then, of course, there's your character. You got Blackarachnia, pretty scary-looking spider. Then, of course, a robot in disguise, as we do know. Very cool. So I like that. 20 steps. Goes from here to here. Doesn't seem possible, but clearly we're going to try to make it happen. But, yeah, what do you guys think of Transformers? Are you big into the Transformers world? Like I said, these were something very new to me. I do know back in the 80s, I've said this before, but I have 2 older cousins, and when you're a young kid, you very much look up to older siblings, and in my case, older cousins, because I didn't know what my own fandom was yet. I knew I liked wrestling, but other than that, I didn't know a lot about anything, so they liked Transformers, He-Man, and G.I. Joe. So guess what? I like those things too, even though I didn't really know much about the characters. I remember playing with their He-Man figures. I remember playing with their G.I. Joes. I remember a little bit about their Transformers, not a ton, but I do remember that they enjoyed them. And then, of course, as we roll into the 90s, my fandom, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was technically the late 80s, but got real popular in the early 90s. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and then actually Batman. Batman became very popular in the 90s with the movies, and then eventually the Batman, the animated series cartoon. But those were kind of my 3 fandoms. I don't include wrestling into that, because wrestling has always been a fandom of mine, as most of you know, because there's been plenty of wrestling unboxings on this channel, with more to come, from retros to elite style and everything in between. And, of course, some big rubber guys. But it's weird how those fandoms go, and I mentioned this before, and I think you'll see this trend with the ones I do pick up. I am more into the Beast Wars style figures. Not that I necessarily love Beast Wars more, but those kind of relaunched around 95, 96, and I did pick up a couple of those. I had a 2-pack, and I talked about it in the last video of a bat and a alligator, which I believe was actually Optimus Primal and Megatron, oddly enough. I didn't know anything about it. I just thought, oh, these are cool. And it's a 2-pack. Why not get a 2-pack if I'm going to get 2 of these things? And I just thought they were cool. And so any of these animal-based ones always kind of draw my attention a little sooner than maybe a car or a truck would. I do have Jazz over there, which is a car, and I picked it up because it looked like it was already sold out on Big Bad, and I found it at a store, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to grab this because I'm afraid it'll sell out. And, the thing with the Transformers, I don't really know why I'm grabbing what I'm grabbing. I'm just like, oh, that looks fun. Let's get that. And we'll kind of see where it goes. But again, this is an interesting toy line, and I'm going to look forward to checking it out. So let's open her up and see what it is all about. Blackarachnia. Very cool. I'm going to pull out the old handy dandy scissors. And try not to bleed all over YouTube. That would be, I think that would be helpful for most. This is again, more of a vintage, not vintage I guess, but it's a retro figure because I bought it at a vintage toy shop, so it's not a brand new one. I didn't get that tape off there. Oh, that's no good. An amateur over here. Oh my gosh. Look at that. What are we doing here? Okay. Popping that out. The instructions. Definitely will need those. Hang on to those. Some important information in the box. Yep, I'm not looking at that at all. Off to the side. Oh, cool. You can see everything kind of put in here. Ooh, a trading card. Very cool. Dinobot. Predacon. It's kind of bent, which I don't really like, but I'm a sucker for a trading card. That's kind of fun. I will actually keep that. Oh my gosh, so many zip ties. Hasbro killing me with the zip ties. We've talked about zip ties a little bit on here. What do you guys think about them? I get it. Like figure swapping, all that stuff. We're just going to cut all the way through it. Is that enough? Might be some more back here too. Goodness gracious. Holy crap. Oh, we got one more over here. But I get it. I get why we do it. And, you know, I personally don't like figure swapping. It's one of my least favorite things in the world. But I hate zip ties too. So I don't know what the answer is. If you have the answer, let me know in the comments. I'm going to try to get rid of all these zip ties. I'm not like Kyle Peterson. I'm not going to keep mine. These are going directly into, well, not the trash because I'm recording, but the trash pile that will soon be put into the trash and taken out for the trash man because tomorrow is trash day. Oh my gosh, so much trash, so much trash. And I think with this, like when I was a kid, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, it was so much easier to unbox stuff. And I think that's why I'm so into the retros, because they're so easy to unbox. You just simply pop off the bubble and you got it, right? Very cool, very cool. Get this out of the way. See how it's definitely a female character. And see if she stands up good. Oh yeah, very cool. Very cool figure. So I'm going to take this offline. Well, not take it offline. I'm going to see if I can transform this one without too much help. Get that another piece of plastic out of the way. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So like the cage.
All right, so that was probably not the most complete time-lapse video you've ever seen. I'll show you why. It broke. Oh my gosh. You could probably hear it in my voice. Very disappointed. It is what it is. In doing stuff like this, it's going to happen from time to time, unfortunately. And this one did not go together quite as simple as Night Prowler did. So I thought, oh, well, I just need to, you know, got a little bit of dust on my table there. I just need to kind of push it into, you know, place. That didn't work. That didn't work at all. So, silver lining, if I transform it back, it actually still holds together because somehow it's put in place where the other parts kind of hold it. So it's actually a usable figure, believe it or not. I kind of lucked out in that regard, but I'll still put up the time-lapse video, so you'll obviously you've already seen it at this point, but I didn't complete it, and I'm like, I just couldn't figure it out, so I went to a YouTube channel, believe it or not, to see what they did. And I was like, okay, I'm not understanding. Poof! I'm like, oh no. So, yeah, disappointing. Very much so. But it is what it is. Not a super expensive figure, but based on today's standards, so I'm not too disappointed. I could always replace it if I wanted to, but, you know, what are you going to do? But anyway, I'm going to take this and transform it back, and we'll be back to close it up. There it is. You probably didn't believe me, but it does hold together, even holding it like this, by its head. Somehow, when you put the shell kind of thing in place, not the shell, but like the the base of the Predacon, maybe? Is that the right word? It is a Predacon, I believe. Or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm flustered on this one, ladies and gentlemen. But when you put it all in place, it does hold together. So the figure itself is not actually ruined. Oddly enough. I'm a more of a figure fan anyway. So that's my main, intrigue with these. I'm not so into transforming them a lot, as most collectors do. I display. And while it's cool to turn these from a cheetah or a spider into a robot, the robot form is a lot more fun to mess with. So if I do mess with it enough, I could take it apart again, but this will probably not be one I transform again. But again, a lot of that was just for the channel. And so this actually could take me back to the drawing board again where I don't do that. I'm not sure. We're going to see. So give me your feedback. If you're watching the channel, if you're subscribed to the channel, if you like this video, because some people may not watch, maybe they're not into Transformers. I do know all the videos have different numbers of views, so some people may not enjoy, the retro wrestling figures. Some people may not enjoy the WWE Mattel Elites. Last week I put up an Animal Warriors video, and it did very well right out of the gate. So everybody's got their niche of what they enjoy, which I do understand. But let me know what you guys think. Overall, I think this figure's great. I am very upset with myself that I broke it, and so lesson learned for the future. I will say, it kind of takes you back to childhood. You're like, oh no, I did it. I broke it. But now it's like I could replace this if I wanted to. I don't need to because it'll display just fine. As you can see, one thing I was really uncertain about with these was all the articulation to get into the transform position. I didn't think they would display well, but they're very sturdy on their feet. So that I'm very happy about. And oddly enough, the YouTube video I watched of the guy transforming this, he had trouble too. So it just was probably a difficult one. So we may run into that from time to time. But I do have more Transformers to come. I may be a couple of weeks before I do it again. Got to get right into the right frame of mind to do that. But I was just like, made me so angry. But what are you going to do? Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and make sure to check out some of my other unboxing videos. I've unboxed a lot of cool stuff on the channel. Most recently, how about the big rubber guys? I've unboxed Andre the Giant and both members of Powers of Pain, the Warlord and the Barbarian. So if you like those LJN style figures and you like your guys big and rubbery, check those out. Also, it's a controversial one. I unboxed Donald Trump recently from Rush Collectibles. A retro-style Donald Trump. Who would have thought that would ever happen in a million years? Well, it happened from our good friend over there, Sal, at Rush Collectibles. Not only that, he just, his monster line, which is under a Kickstarter right now, he announced a ring. How crazy is that? A freaking ring for monster figures. And that's the thing is, I think with that, a lot of people were kind of like, oh, I don't need those. It's not wrestling. No, I agree, but now there's a ring. So, and it looks like Frankenstein's laboratory. One of the coolest things I've ever seen. First got to pull off a ring. So I'm all in. And Sal's a friend of mine, so I was all in anyway. But I'm like, this is like the most insane thing I've ever seen. So I'm really excited to see what happens there. But I've also recently unboxed Cobra Eel from the G.I. Joe Classified line. So much fun. Such a great line. I also picked up an Action Force figure the other day. From Valaverse, which is pretty much in scale with G.I. Joe Classified, so I think I'm going to kind of intermingle those a little bit and get those unboxed very soon here on the channel, so looking forward to that. And while you're at it, check out the TV Toycast. Every Thursday, wherever you get your podcast, I've done a ton of different main events with Travis, with Jeff, and with some special guests. How about check out Toonie Terrors from NECA. How cool was that line? It's actually still going. In fact, they've introduced Toonie comics and all kinds of stuff. Toonie Terrors was a episode I did recently. It's actually been a little bit. I think Sal from Rush Collectibles was actually on that. I think he guest hosted that episode with me. So check that out in the archives and make sure to subscribe to the podcast and also subscribe to this channel. And leave some comments, thumbs up, all that good stuff. Help out the channel and let me know what you would like to see. If there's some specific toys you would like to see unboxed, if they're available and doable and something I'm into, I'm most definitely down to make it happen. Or if there's something I may not get to for a while, suggest it. That might get it bumped up in the line, in line of getting it unboxed anyway, a little bit faster. But that's Blackarachnia. It broke, and it also broke my heart. What are you going to do? This is the TB Toycast YouTube channel, and we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shop.